even if these players win, they get up to 16 or 15 points, there's a chance they can still lose out on breakers based on how their opponent win percentage is. And alternatively, Ken Bauman actually got that bye in the first round, if you guys remember. So Ken's breakers are, getting that bye and not getting that opponent win percentage really tanks your breakers. So there's a chance that we can even see them get edged out.
Yep. And so to show you guys how the pod order is going here, we have Ken Bauman going first on Krark Sakashima. We have Mitch going second on Rograk Silas. We have Codey going third on Tymna Kraum, and we have Junior going fourth on Prosper Tomebound. And so like we said earlier, all these players need to win in order to make it to top 16. We had a few players do some intentional draws this morning to guarantee their spot in top 16. So these players really have to be a little bit more cutthroat. They're going to be a little bit more hard-pressed to try to take this game down and take it home so they could make it into day 2. So you can see Ken Bauman starting off here with a Flooded Strand as the fetch for turn, getting a Volcanic Island. And we have Mitch starting out with a fetch for a Underground Sea. And we're going to see here if Mitch has a pretty explosive turn 1 here with Rogsai. Historically turbo deck, something that can really explode out of nowhere, grab turn 1 wins. And going second in a pod like this is not a bad place to be if you're the Rogsai player. So we're going to see after this fetch resolves if we're doing anything exciting. You can see we cast the Rog and using the Underground. Yeah, this is exciting. So getting a Mystic Remora down early in a pod with a Krark Saka and
we see a swan song from Ken Bauman immediately. He knows what that does. Not interested.
No, you can't let something like that resolve. Oh, and Mitch just saying, hey, can I put the Soul Ring, the Mana Crypt, and the LED down all in the same turn?
Incredible.
Wow. But kind of a funny shortcut to see there. But yeah, no one had any interaction for the rest of Mitch's hand. So the Mystic Remora, kind of a sick bait to put into play.
Really makes me think if Ken Bauman has an explosive turn 2 coming up, or if he's just trying to prevent, there's been a lot of feeding the fishes at this tournament, a lot of feeding risk studies, a lot of what some people would call loose play, just because, it's very easy to get the game run away with when you have a Ristic Study or a Mystic Remora on the field.
The fact that Mitch shortcutted that by just dumping his mana rocks on the table just shows like the kind of hands that Rogsai can keep and throw down on the table.
It's incredible to watch.
Codey playing a Mystic Confluence, right? Is that the
Mystic Mana Confluence?
Or Mana Confluence, and then leading off with a Rogsai, not or
a Ragavan.
Sorry, it's been an early morning.
Adam's still drunk from last night.
No. So a Ragavan non-dashed, and then Junior starting off with an Urza Saga. Now the rest of the table, pretty slow starts in comparison to Mitch here.
This is pretty sick to see from Junior. An early Urza Saga, probably getting that Jeweled Load just to get Prosper on the field.
Captain Moral Support, to answer your question, the Mystic Remora that Mitch tried to cast got swan-songed by Ken Bauman.
And now we're seeing a Krark from Ken with an immediate Mog Salvage. Extremely cool. Let's see if this is going back to hand.
Yep, so we have a Krark trigger on the Mog Salvage. See if we're going to copy. It's odds, so it's going back to hand.
And evens are copy.
Yeah.
I'm confused as to why he rolled twice. Because we only have one Krark on the board. I believe we only rolled maybe that first one was weird in some way and we decided to re-roll.
Like a cock or something?
What?
Like it was cocked or something.
Unbelievable. You can't just say that. Oh, a Dark Writ from Rogsai. Extremely intimidating, especially with Ken tapped out.
Is this an ad nauseum here?
Is this a fucking ad nauseum? I'm going to die.
It could be ad naus, necro.
Oh, Simian Spirit Guide. I'm livid. And a Grim Tutor. A Grim Tutor. Okay, that's not too bad.
Cracking Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh, this is
the last card in hand.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's awesome.
If the rest of the table has no interaction here, this could be a turn 2 Nas coming down from Mitch. Let's get a player view here to see what's going on.
Yeah.
You can see we're floating. Look at Mitch.
Look at that smirk.
The rest of the table just looking very deeply at Mitch, wondering what he's doing. And he's saying, there's a Grim Tutor on the stack. Held priority, I cracked Lion's Eye Diamond in response. Can I resolve my Grim Tutor? The rest of the table going, yeah, looks like you got a Grim Tutor here.
Yeah, but no mana for ad nauseam. No, we got an untapped land here. We got an untapped Otawara. Just enough mana for the ad naus.
For the ad naus, yeah. Storm count is also 2. Good. The good board representation by Mitch here, letting us know
what the storm count is, what mana is floating. All thanks to the Epic Storm. Very nice tokens. Always super clear and super helpful in the situation.
Yeah, so here we go. We're going to see. Yep, putting an ad naus on the stack.
Everybody saw it coming. Let's see if Ken kept any interaction by tapping out.
Yeah, so it looks like the table doesn't have an answer to this Adnos. You can see here Mitch is kind of like...
It seems like Ken's only answer to a possible Rog Sai early win was Mog salvaging that Mana Crypt, which unfortunately didn't help.
It wasn't enough. It was not enough.
Yeah, not with the Dark Red and a Simian Spirit Guide to get those exact seas mana.
Such a sick turn to play here. If the rest of the table doesn't have an answer for this Nas, I don't think they're going to be able to come out of this. Now, the only thing is that Mitch had all of his free mana rocks on the board already. So he has not a lot of way to accrue some mana with a main phase Nas like this.
Well, we're looking for a Chrome Mox or a Mox Diamond. We got Lotus Petal in there somewhere, but with all three of those things, and we're looking for all three free mana rocks, and then we're looking for the win. And we're looking for a very specific win. We can't find Tainted Pact here. We have to find exactly Consult Oracle.
Yeah, I mean, your line is open here, though, for a Underworld Breach line. So something like a couple Mana Rocks, a Dockside, and an Underworld Breach is enough to be able to get you there. But we're going to see here. Look at Ken very intently looking at Mitch's life total, saying, let's resolve this Nas. All right, 1, 2. So, let's see if we got any cards of significance. There's a Chain of Vapor.
Oh, no. We're going off the screen. Oh, no.
Yeah. So see if you can denote
we're moving up cards. A little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Yep,
for the
here we
glare.
go. Yep.
Mitch doing a good job.
That's a Springleaf Drum there.
Team Turn 3 responding. Whoever cut Mitch's deck is really regretting their decision right now. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. A turn 2 Nas here for Mitch.
There's a Risky Study, which is a big hurt, but not much. Doesn't help at this point.
I mean, 20 life here. We have some extra turn spells. We need to get to the free mana.
Windfall, still nothing. Still a lot of big hits. A lot of 3 mana spells that aren't doing much for us right now. Down to 15, and we're still seeing a lot of nothing. There's the Chrome Mox.
There's the Chrome Mox.
There's some free. There's a land.
That's a
City of Traders.
And I don't
think we've played land for turn. There's a Wheel of Fortune, another bad hit right now.
We definitely played our land for turn because this is turn 2. We have the Ottawara untapped that we used for the Ad Nauseam cast. So
totally.
All right, we've got 1 mana rock. We need to hit the Mox Diamond if we want to be able to go off here. And we also still don't have the mana for the Dockside if we get one.
Yeah, we're moving aside the free mana, the Wheel of Fortune, the Rite of Flame. And it looks like one other Rite of Flame-esque card that I'm not recognizing right now.
I mean, the table doesn't have any interaction, right? And so you could try to assemble 2 mana rocks and then cast your Warrior's Oath to take an extra turn and try to assemble a win from the cards that you have in hand then.
Yep, we're seeing a Daze, we're seeing a Final Fortune.
8 life is what Mitch is down to at the current moment.
With no win in hand, no tutors, no win, no nothing. So far, this has been a little bit of a rough one. Especially when we're going into a potential Final Fortune turn with no Mana Crypt.
Well, and you have no rituals available to you as well. Remember that Mitch casted his Dark Ritual in order to get the Grim Tutor off.
The Rite of Flame, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Rite of Flame. We actually expended 2 rituals in order to...
No, Rite of Flame.
Because we had the Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so it looks like we're stopping there at 8 life. I wonder if Mitch saw a line that we're going to be able to assemble here, so we will find out.
I mean, with that Final Fortune, you can get yourself an extra turn, but unfortunately, these are a lot of expensive spells.
And look, we have Seth here very intently looking at Mitch through his turn. Nas turns here are something that we're being very adamant at Eminence events, making sure that there's no slow play. So let's see what Mitch does.
Putting the Wheel of Fortune underneath the Chrome Mox, and then immediately going to the Rite of Flame to float 2 red.
Yep.
And then Springleaf Drum for 1, tapping out. And casting
the Warrior's Oath.
Yep.
So let's take an extra turn and try to assemble a win from there.
Let's give this a shot. It's kind of incredible how quickly Mitch found that line. He made that decision very fast.
MTG the Epic Storm saying, if Mitch loses this game, I'm going to give him so much crap for stopping at 8 life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're going to stop and go for the win here, you're casting a Warrior's Oath anyway. What card are you going to hit that's going to hit you for 8?
Exactly.
You might as well go deeper and try to find another
100%.
answer. So casting the Warrior's Oath here, looks like we're moving to discard. And we're going to try to assemble a win with an extra turn here.
Yeah, this card is going to be hefty.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it looks like we're keeping Final Fortune. I would assume he is.
Yeah, he has his hand displayed here because it's all revealed information.
Yep.
All right, playing City of Traders as land for turn, accruing as much mana as we can.
Tapping the Ottawara and the Springleaf Drum.
All right, changing some of our tapping.
Okay, just tapping out the Springleaf Drum for the Dark Ritual, floating 3 black.
I believe that was... We will find out here.
Did we draw the Dark Ritual as
I think that was Cabal.
Cabal? No.
Yeah, that's 4 black mana
Oh.
because he had to sacrifice the
Gotcha.
Rograk.
And here's a diabolic intent. Okay.
Sacrificing the bird token. That Swan Song coming back to bite Ken
Absolutely
Bauman.
disgusting.
Giving him an extra creature for another, with a deck like Rockside, you have sack rituals and sack tutors.
Absolutely.
This might actually, we have 2 black mana floating and we have enough blue mana. We had Thoracle in hand. All we need to do is get the Tainted Pact here and Mitch is going to take this game down.
Did we have Thoracle in hand?
Yes, we had Thoracle off the
We see
Adnos.
Thoracle
You can
right
see
there.
it at the top.
Wow.
This is crazy. What a good line.
Where's looking for the breach?
Oh, we're going for the breach line too.
Interesting.
Ooh, I wonder why we wouldn't just jam the Thoracle Tainted Pact
I
here
am
with the
curious.
Diabolic Intent.
Yes.
Maybe he's afraid that the table might have some interaction.
I would not be afraid of that, though.
No, at this point, someone would have already interacted with you on your extra turn spell, if anything.
Do we have the mana for it? We have 2 blue and
We
a
had
black
2
here.
black floating.
I'm so curious.
Yeah,
We have
interesting.
the line side from the yard.
I guess maybe we're showboating here.
Maybe a little bit.
Mitch just trying to, show the table I've got it all, and I can assemble any line I want with the cards in my hand and in my
Interesting.
graveyard. And we're gonna mystical tutor here. Yeah, this seems
What is
like
going on?
This seems like a really odd line when
What
you have
is
the
happening?
Thoracle in your hand. I see. Bryant from the Epic Storm saying technically it plays around SSG into Blast if someone has a Simian Spirit Guide and a Red Elemental Blast on your Thoracle, which is a good read. If you were trying to play around every which way, you need to win this game in order to move on to top 16. You might as well play around everything that could happen.
Absolutely.
You might as well play the line as tight as you can and play around whatever your opponents may have.
Yep. Storm count is up to 5 here, keeping track of those little, up to 6 now with the Epic Storm tokens.
Yeah, look at how Seth is intently watching Mitch here. They want to ensure that ad nauseum turns are not creating any slow play and that players are taking as many game actions as they can.
This is the opposite of slow play. This
Yes.
is almost like, it feels reckless how fast Mitch is going here.
Yeah, Mitch is moving quite fast at this point. So
Mitch has had experience with this one.
yeah, Mitch is a very seasoned Rockside pilot. I know that he's worked a lot with Bryant Cook and Alex McKinley, as well as some other great pilots on some innovations that have happened to the deck. A lot of things that have changed how people approach this deck and the turbo Adnos strategy in total. So Mitch is a very well-versed player and has been working really hard in this tournament to get wins where he can.
Absolutely.
And so if he's able to pull this one out here, it's going to be a great opportunity for him to make top 16. And yeah, as you can see in the chat here, MTG the Epic Storm saying, where can you get these tokens? You can get these tokens off of the Epic Storm's website, where they have come out with a new token pack here that is useful for all formats between Modern, Legacy, and even cEDH. They've actually worked on creating a bunch of new tokens for our format and helping us represent our board states much more clearly at the Epic Storm. So thank you so much for providing those and for being a sponsor of Eminence.
Yeah. Just as well, thank you to Moxfield for kind of putting our whole event together and making sure that those deck lists are submitted on time and submitted accurately. And last minute changes go so smoothly because their website is so intuitive.
Scoopface is saying, do they have left-handed tokens? I'm not sure, but I do know they have ones for people without thumbs. So as a Krark player, Scoop, you should be able to get some Epic Storm tokens.
The MTG, the Epic Storm, really just applying to all audiences here.
All right, so you can see that we're floating some blue mana here. 3 blue mana floating, 1 black floating. Exiling cards from our graveyard, it looks like. Let's get a camera on Mitch while he's doing this.
Memo in chat saying how half the table is still in turn 1.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's where Rockside really does its best work, when half the table isn't ready for it. And honestly, you gotta take a hats off to the Blue Farm player. There we go. There it is.
Yeah, showing
Yep.
the brain
Good
freeze
game.
table.
Hell
saying,
yeah.
We'll scoop it up to
Absolutely.
that. Congratulations to Mitch with a turn 2 Rockside win with a super sick line. You mean you had to ritual into the Grim Tutor, sacrificing LED, holding priority on the Grim Tutor, so you had enough black mana to cast the Ad Nauseam. Such a big brain play, and a reason why maybe more people should be playing Grim Tutor in their Turbo Naws decks.
Incredible. Not to mention looking at the easy Thoracle line and saying, you know what, I'm just going to play around it just in case because of the Simian Spirit Guide into potential Red Elemental Blast or Pyro Blast. You gotta give some credit where credit is due here. And not to mention that of the people at this table, we had Ken Bauman and Junior and Codey all at 10 points, while Mitch was the only one at 11. So Mitch kind of being the best one to win this game here, because Mitch is now at 16 points, which is definitely a contention for that top 4 or top 16.
I think we're actually mistaken on that. So Ken, Junior, and Mitch all had 10 points before this round. Codey was the only one that was sitting at 11.
Gotcha.
So Mitch, now with this win, this takes him up to 15 points. Now, when it comes to breakers in this event, 16 is guaranteed to make it into top 16, whereas 15, you're right on the edge. So if Mitch's breakers are good enough, you will see Mitch in the top 16 at the end of this event.
I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if a player, depending on how wins kind of pan out here, we have a lot of players at 11 points. I would be surprised if maybe a couple of people with 16 didn't make it in, just because that's how the pebbles kind of fall.
And we have some insight here from Bryant Cook in the chat saying that the team that they used to brew these decks and practice for these events actually cut Offer You Can't Refuse on Thursday night for Grim Tutor, wanting more tutor effects rather than interaction, especially interaction that can help your opponents, like provide them with something like treasures, utilizing that instead to get Grim Tutor